this is a year in the WNBA that's going to be defined by the top two teams, and then sort of can anyone else get into the conversation of those two teams. And so with that said, and we'll talk about those two first, we're going to go in order of title odds. But who is your title pick right now as we embark on this season?
So I did make some of these picks on The Athletic already, and I would like to stay consistent just because, well, one, I don't want to have people saying that I'm already changing my mind. But just, just for thoroughness, I took the liberty to win the title. The reason for that is I just have a very hard time believing that Breanna Stewart is going to keep losing in the playoffs.
I think we talked about this when the teams when the dust settled, Chris, in free agency. I said the Liberty at that time. Did you as well?
You're asking me to remember what I said.
Well, what do you think? Tell me now what your pick is.
I'm gonna go with the Liberty, but do I feel how confident do I feel in that? Would be like a 5 because it's just. But I feel like there are two teams we're gonna be picking between.
Sure.
The betting odds certainly indicate that as well. That there's a vast gap between. Yes. There's two super teams and there's a massive drop off. But I will go to the rule. It's because of Stewie. It's because they have a really good coach. They've assembled a really good roster. I think we're also just kind of waiting for some version of a Sabrina Ionescu breakout, and maybe her as the complement to what Stewie is, kind of unlock some things for her in a different way that kind of elevates her. I think that's on the table. They feel like the team that just has all the momentum, and it's partially because they got in her prime, one of the best players of all time that's just ready to go. That's kind of part of this.
All right, breakout team, Sabrina. Who's the team that maybe obviously isn't going to be in that top cluster, but even somebody in the bottom half of the league who basketball fans might want to tune into, who you think could be better than expected?
I'm really excited to watch Atlanta this year. I don't know where any of their interior scoring is going to come from, but frankly, that's not that interesting to me. So they've got a really, really good guard group. Haley Jones is one of my top 3 favorite players in last year's draft. I just absolutely love watching her play and letting her play with some pace in transition. God forbid Stanford ever did that. It's going to be so much fun to watch in Atlanta. I love Alicia Gray, Erin McDonald, Ryan Howard. I mean, they just have a bunch of really active, feisty perimeter defenders, and they're going to get into the paint a lot. I don't know how effective of a scoring team they're going to be, but I think it's going to be really fun to watch, and that's the one I have an eye on.
Huge Ryan Howard fan, as we'll talk about when we get to the Atlanta Dream section of the team burning questions, but I like that one for sure. Breakout player. Similar question, but maybe if people are more of the let's find a player who I enjoy and forget the other 4 guys or girls on the court, who should they be tuning into this W season?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if this still counts, considering she just swept every Italian league award, including, league MVP, finals MVP, best import, yada, yada, yada. But Marina Mabrey, she was not an all-star last year, has not been in her WNBA career. The Sky gave up a buttload of picks to bring her into Chicago. She's arguably the best ball handler and best shooter on the Sky. And, there's going to be some offense to create there. So I think she's going to have the opportunity to put up a lot of numbers, and Chicago's definitely trying to win, for better or worse. The Isabel Harrison news is a real gut punch. I had originally put Chicago 4th in my preseason rankings, and I feel very silly about that now. But I do think Marina's going to have an excellent season, and I would pencil her in as an all-star right away.
Very fun fit with Kalia Copper, too. Just absolutely how they balance one another, sort of finesse, shooting, power game, perimeter game, all that.
A lot of trash talk.
Yeah. A lot of trash talk. That should be awesome as